Enough is enough. Our house is not a free daycare, you know. Are you really that clueless at your age?
What?
Just because you're the older sister doesn't mean you can take advantage of the kindness of your younger sister, and we have our limits too. It's absurd to leave a small child with a newly married couple. We've only been married for 2 months. Thanks to you, our newlywed life is in chaos.
Anthony? What's all this sudden talk about kids in daycare? I don't quite understand what you're talking about.
What? After causing all this trouble for your sister and her husband, what are you talking about? Leaving your kid with your sister for a month is outrageous. If you don't plan on raising them, why did you have a kid in the first place?
I haven't had any children.
Huh?
Can we calm down a bit? I honestly don't understand what you've been talking about. Why would I, who have no children, leave a child with my sister and her husband?
What are you talking about? We've been looking after your child for over a month now. You got pregnant with a man you didn't even know in a drunken haze, didn't you?
Excuse me?
And of course, you couldn't tell your parents or anyone. But you finally reached your limit as a single mother, so you dumped your child on your sister.
What? What's this horrible story you're making up? A drunken mistake? That's absolutely impossible. I'm such a lightweight that I need an ambulance after 1 glass.
What?
I'll say it again. I haven't given birth. I don't know whose child my sister and her husband are looking after, but I truly have nothing to do with it.
But Valentina said she's always had a hard time standing up to you and couldn't refuse. She said that she needed help for just 2 weeks, but it's been dragging on for a month now. We've never cared for a child before. It's nothing but stress for us.
What?
We can entertain a cute kid for a few hours, but 24 hours a day for a whole month, that's impossible. They can walk around, but they don't understand language yet. And they break things, and they make a mess all over the house.
Wait a minute, hold on. What's this about not being able to stand up to her older sister? If anything, it's the opposite. She's been rebellious towards me since we were kids.
Huh?
You know that too, right? That there's a big age gap between my sister Valentina and me.
Yes, I knew that. Your parents wanted another child, but they weren't blessed with one for a long time. I heard that Valentina was conceived when they had almost given up.
So my parents have always pampered her, and she was quite frail when she was younger with many hospitalizations. And maybe because my parents felt guilty about their late-age pregnancy, they doted on her even more. And that's how she became a fully fledged spoiled princess. She's not happy unless she's always the center of attention. And she's always treated her older sister, who is a whole generation apart, like an old woman.
Really? Is that how it was?
I got fed up with their attitude and my parents' over-the-top doting, so I left home at an early age. Even if I were to get pregnant, there's no way I would rely on my sister.
So what's the situation then? I've been told by Valentina that you and her have always been on bad terms, that you were jealous of the parents' doting and were always bossed around when the parents weren't looking. So she said she was too scared to refuse this time too. Then, who's this child?
I can't answer that question even if you ask me.
I could have endured it if we were both looking after the child. But Valentina can't bring herself to love her because she thinks it's her sister's child. So she said that you should take care of the child and left it all to me. I can't take care of a small child while working.
What's she been saying? I'm sorry for my sister's behavior. For now, I'll ask her what's going on. Even if you ask her, she'll probably just feed you some crazy story. Hey, Valentina. Who's this kid you've been looking after? I've heard the story from Anthony. Huh? I got an angry call from him. He said it's outrageous to suddenly leave a small child with a newlywed couple. I'm going to have you explain the situation properly. This is the worst! Anthony snitched on me to my sister. What's with that attitude? And you're pawning off all the childcare on Anthony, aren't you? It's no wonder he wants to complain. First, tell me who the child really is. Whose child are you really looking after? It doesn't matter whose child it is. It's none of your business, old lady. Don't butt in. Don't joke with me. You won't get away with saying it's none of my business when you're mentioning my name. And if you're going to have that attitude, I could just tell our parents everything. That their beloved daughter is raising a stranger's child. What? What? Wait a minute. It would be a hassle if our parents found out. Then explain the situation quickly. Don't tell me it's not your secret child, is it? Of course not. Don't imagine vulgar things about your newlywed sister. That child is my friend's child. I'm just looking after a child that my college friend had. A friend from your college years? I have a friend who has a 2-year-old child. Her husband is always traveling for work, so she's doing all the parenting herself. But now she's in the hospital because she got sick. My friend's parents are unreliable when it comes to air travel, so they asked me for help. They asked if I could look after their child for a while. Explain it just like that to Anthony. Why did you lie using my name? There are various reasons why it's inconvenient. You should know that. You're older than me, and you don't even know that? Huh? I could tell you the honest truth, but it would be a pain if you started digging into it. The truth is, I owe that friend about $3,000. But due to various circumstances, I'm behind on the payments. So I'm taking care of their child in lieu of paying the interest of the loan. You borrowed money from a friend? What are you doing? By the way, what kind of debt is this? It doesn't matter what it is. What? Are you going to help me pay it back if I tell you? Huh? Just kidding. We've never been close, so you won't lend me money anyway. Anyway, I've explained the situation, so you should be satisfied with that. And don't tell Anthony anything unnecessary, or I won't forgive you. Hey, Valentina, what the hell is this? Why is there a small child standing alone at my front door? It's written in the letter I gave the child. Please take care of the child on behalf of your sister and her husband for a while. At your age, getting married or having a baby is out of the question. It must be a happy experience for you. Huh? LOL. I must be a genius to come up with this. Anthony seemed to be at his limit with stress. I'm not good with small children, so it's absolutely impossible for me to take care of them. Then just let someone else do it, like a single, free older sister. No way. To treat a child I'm looking after from a friend like this, what kind of nerve do you have? Do you have no sense of responsibility? I didn't want to look after it. I just did it reluctantly to cancel out the interest on my debt. Huh? By the way, I don't understand why you're mad. You're over halfway through your 30s, in your late 40s, right? For such a dried-up old lady, a small child must be like a dream come true. You should be grateful to be allowed to take care of it. What? I got a message from my friend. It looks like they'll be discharged from the hospital in about a week. So please take care of their child until then. Of course, I won't forgive you if you say anything unnecessary to Anthony. Just keep quiet and look after the child, you single, dried-up old lady.
Valentina, I'm already so disgusted with you. It's unbelievable that you could do such a thing to your own sister and someone else's child.
Huh?
Leaving a child alone at the front door. How could you do such a thing? What would you have done if neither Nevaeh or I noticed?
What's this? What does it mean? Why is Anthony on Nevaeh's phone?
I happened to be at Nevaeh's house. We had a consultation about you. I thought it would be faster to meet directly than to call or text, so I visited her.
Huh? You're consulting with my sister? What are you consulting about? There's nothing to consult about with that old hag, right?
Yes, there is. Like a consultation about divorcing you. I heard everything from Nevaeh. The child we were looking after is the child of your friend, right? You had made a deal to look after her for a while in exchange for canceling the interest on your debt.
Huh? You're joking! That old witch! She told you everything?
There's no reason for her to keep quiet about the situation of a sister who calls her a hag. Anyway, I didn't know you were the type to use such filthy language. No, that's not the only thing I didn't know. I never thought you'd be evading a debt to a friend from college, and that you were unemployed before we got married. I didn't know anything about you. I was deceived. I can't believe you're so irresponsible with money and can't be trusted.
Wait a minute. Why do you know that? I didn't tell my sister about being unemployed.
I checked your PC immediately after hearing from Nevaeh. What the hell is all this history? You were laid off from your job and unemployed before we got married. You immediately poured your savings into investments and it was a total failure. On top of that, you're using our two people's savings, right? Our savings for my home that I've been saving up bit by bit. $20,000 has been withdrawn. What does this mean?
No! Everything's out in the open!
Now why don't you explain what's going on?
It's all wrong. The layoff from the company was unavoidable because of the recession. But I didn't want to worry you, so I kept it a secret. I just started investing to cover up for the lost salary and other things.
So, you used your savings to cover for a huge failure in your investments. Do you think that kind of excuse is going to work?
Don't say such cold things as excuses. Besides, the investment was going well at first. But suddenly it crashed and I was in trouble. But the only way to recover the loss was to use the savings. If it goes well, we might be able to build our home in one go.
I don't even want to see your face today. Fortunately, Nevaeh said she would look after the child for a while. I feel more relieved leaving the child with her than with you, so I'll take advantage of it. I'll go back to my parents' house for today.
To your parents' house? You're not going to say that you won't come back again, are you? You mentioned the divorce consultation earlier, but that's all a joke, right? We're only a few months into our marriage. We're not going to get a divorce, right?
If we're to split, the sooner the better, right? That way, we save time and money.
What?
So leave me alone for today. Once I've gathered my thoughts, I'll contact you.
What are you going to do about this? Because of you, I'm facing a divorce crisis. If you were with Anthony, you should have told me right away.
Huh?
Anthony, he really didn't come back. He texted me that he'll stay at his parents' house until he sorts out his thoughts. Everything is your fault, you know?
What's with that attitude? I'm taking care of your precious friend's child in your place right now. I should be thanked, not blamed.
Ugh, be quiet. In the first place, that's not even a precious friend. Why on earth did I invite that guy to the ceremony? Then I could have just defaulted on the debt.
She's not a close friend who would take care of your child?
Huh? I'm not close to her at all. I was just being friendly with her in college because she was useful. I never thought of her as a friend.
Huh.
She wasn't as cute as me, perfect. And if I asked her a little, she would lend me money immediately. So I just treated her like a usual friend. But she was dating the senior I admired before I knew it. She got a job offer from a big company I was interested in. And on graduation day, she was so persistent about paying back the money I had lent her. That's why I hadn't contacted her at all since then.
You weren't just bad to me, but you were also like that in school?
But I was laid off just before my wedding. The wedding expenses were supposed to be split in half, but I had put all my savings into investments and they were gone. So in a panic, I invited as many friends as I could. I thought that if I could gather a lot of congratulatory money, I would be okay.
Did you forget all about the past and end up inviting that friend?
That's right. And then that girl, she came empty-handed, saying that she didn't need a wedding gift because it was offset against the debt. And she couldn't offset the entire amount, so she said to pay back early.
Oh my.
So I had no choice but to take the child. Why does it have to turn out like this?
It's because you've been telling unnecessary lies, isn't it? From the beginning, if you had honestly told about the layoff and the identity of the child.
Ugh, shut up! Don't give me a lecture, you unmarried old hag. Marriage can easily fall apart over small things, you know.
That may be true. But hiding things is different, isn't it? Especially something so important.
That's it! I just had a great idea. In this case, you should pay back the debt instead of me.
Excuse me?
You can't get married or pregnant anymore. In such a situation, parenting experience must be valuable, right? So in return for that, you should give me $3,000. Then the debt repayment to my friend will be done in one fell swoop.
How on earth can you think of such an out-of-the-box idea? You're such a bother, and yet you're asking for money.
But honestly, you're having a good experience, aren't you? Someone like you, an old hag, can't get married even if you pay money. Let alone pregnancy and childbirth. You can't do it alone. You can experience valuable parenting, so you should pay the money. Then, you can immediately return the child to my friend by clearing the debt. I'm sure Anthony will let everything go and come back.
And that's when I'm going to get married. In fact, I'm pregnant now.
What? Pregnant? And you're married? Oh, you're the one in Alaska. It's impossible for an old hag like you.
But it's possible. We're not on good terms, so I thought it would be okay to tell you after the fact. Actually, I'm due to give birth next month, and I'm planning to register this month.
Huh?
So don't worry about the parenting experience. I'll be raising my own child to my heart's content.
Wait a minute. What on earth are you talking about? Are you really getting married? Are you really going to give birth?
There's no way I'm lying about this. I am in my mid-30s, which is considered an age for high-risk pregnancy. But it seems my parents will support me thoroughly, so there's no problem. I never thought those parents would suggest a homecoming.
What? Homecoming?
They said they were sorry for always favoring you, because she was their younger daughter and wanted me to rely on them because I'm also their important daughter. They've also had high-risk pregnancies, and they want to help me.
No way! Wait! They should only dote on me! It seems they had their own thoughts as parents, and more than anything, they seem happy about the birth of their grandchild. No! No way! I'm going to be the first one to show my parents a grandchild, and then the child will be adored by my parents just like me. But it's absolutely not okay for you to show your grandchild first. It's absolutely not okay for you to go home and come back. Huh? Do not try to curry favor with your parents by using your grandchild at this last stage. Father and mother have always been doting on me alone. I was always the most loved one. Even at a time like this, you can't stand not being the first. What's wrong with that? I'm going to show my parents their grandchild, so you can't. Don't take the first place away from me. Then let me ask you, when are you going to show them a grandchild? Even though you're going to be served divorce papers from Anthony soon. Huh? He won't serve me such papers. When he goes home and cools off, I'm sure he'll reconsider. Anthony loves me, and he will never abandon me. But he just contacted me now. I've decided to go through with the divorce. I believe in hastening good deeds, so I'm going to pick up the divorce papers now, he says. Huh? Anthony seems to have thought it over thoroughly overnight. He would have liked to overcome this together, but he was left to take care of the child he was looking after, and he says he can't imagine having his own child with such a person. No way! You're kidding, right? So, that's why we're breaking up? It's impossible. I was planning on raising our own child. You can say anything with words, but I don't trust you. You call your friend a sidekick without a second thought, and you default on your debt. To top it all off, you hide your unemployment and fail big in investments. Who can trust someone who uses up the savings of two married people? No, that's... And you explain to Anthony conveniently about your discord with your sister. No one can trust you full of lies. I'll keep taking care of your friend's child, so you better calm down a bit. This is the last advice from your elder sister. I took care of my friend's child with my fiancé for about a week, and when I saw my friend's face after she was discharged, she looked and acted a lot like me, and I could understand why my sister Valentina had made her a side chick. Now this has become a bond, and I'm getting along with her as a good senior mom. As for my sister Valentina, in the meantime, her divorce with Anthony was finalized, and she borrowed money from a consumer finance company to repay him the savings she had used up. She finally finished paying her friend, and now she's working from morning till night at a factory in the next town to repay a total debt of about $3,000, I hear.